What's up, Nightwalkers? Today I'm going over the DTNVS. This is fairly new, first becoming available for purchase towards the end of 2020. Now the DTNVS, it's manufactured by a company in Europe called ACTinBlack. They're most widely known for the previous goggle to this one, which is called the DTNVG. Now DTNVG, that stands for Dual Tube Night Vision Goggle. DTNVS, Dual Tube Night Vision System. Pretty similar naming conventions, and that's because it really just sums up what it is. It's a dual tube goggle. And so the key differences, between the DTNVS and then the NVG, and I'll put a picture up of the NVG so you can kind of see what it looks like if you're not familiar with it. But basically, this one's been lightened up some, and it's had some other features, added to it or built into the design that weren't present on the DTNVG. The NVS's bridge, as you can see, it's been skeletonized compared to the NVG. The one thing that stands out is on the NVS, you got these loops here to allow you to connect bungees to it. So, you could take your hooks like on your, your traditional ops cord bungees and hook them right here. However, what I would do is I would take a split ring and then run your split ring through this thing. And so that way, if you got hooks or you got bungees with mini carabiners, or you got a lanyard, whatever you got, just connect it to the split ring versus going onto the loop. It runs off of one CR123A battery. It's good for about 20 to 30 hours of use, depending on temperature, stuff like that. The power knob is pretty similar to a PVS14 in terms of how it operates. And so, you turn it once, turns it on, pull it out, turn it again, and that's going to turn on this Illuminator, which is built in here right there. This Illuminator, it's like a lot of these things on these devices where it's not really powerful, but it's good for up-close stuff. The NVS is sold as two versions. There's the standard version without IPD stops, and then there's the version with IPD stops. And honestly, it's the same exact goggle. I mean, the only difference is that on the back of it, if you buy it with the IPD stops, it'll be installed for you. Otherwise, if you buy it and then you decide to add them later on, you just put them on yourself. It takes no time at all. It's basically this right here. It's a plate, some backers, and some screws, and I'll show you how it goes. It's really easy to put on here. It basically mounts in here using these 4 holes with some backers, and it allows you to lock these things out, because with traditional articulating goggles like these, the way you line them up for your eyes is you just got to kind of get them in position, and once you find it, they stay put. However, if you articulate them up, once you come back down to your eyes, you just have to find that right spot. Which isn't a huge deal. I mean, it usually takes, I don't know, a couple seconds or so. But what the IPD stops allow you to do is gives you these points here, and then you can basically, in one motion, put them back down to where they're supposed to go. The contents of the kit, you basically got your plate here that goes on the back of the goggle, and then you got some backers, and then some screws. So you take this thing and you pop it in here to the back of the DTNVS. And so you can see the 4 openings here. That's going to correspond with the holes where the screws go. It pretty much makes sense. The actual IPD arms, I guess, or stoppers, whatever you want to call these things, they have to make contact with the monocular pods. That's how it functions. And then the backers, it's pretty self-explanatory. When you look at them, you'll see how they go. Okay, with the IPD system installed, you can see the position of the backers, right there on the top and the bottom. It really makes sense once you do it. It's really easy to do. It's not a big deal. And so the way the system works is you're going to rotate this knob, and that's going to extend or retract out the part that actually does the stopping action. And so basically what you do is you're going to get these lined up for your eyes, where they need to go. So you get, one complete 40-degree circle, and then you're just going to extend out the stopper until it makes contact with the monocular pod. And so what that allows you to do is in one motion, you just get these down and they'll go exactly where they're supposed to go. Depending on where you buy these from, you can get different selections for tubes. At TNVC, we offer these in unfilmed white phosphor or thin film green phosphor. These particular ones have unfilmed white. However, it's up to you for your budget, how much you want to spend on tubes. The rest of the goggle, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, you're basically, gonna do all your articulating adjustments here on the bridge. You got your power knob, your battery, IPD stops. I mean, it's really a straightforward goggle. The articulation feature on the NVS is really nice. So for example, whichever monocular pod that you rotate up, the power is going to turn off on it whenever you get it past about this position right here. And so if you do both of them, they'll both stay turned off. Then you're not going to have any light coming from the tubes, potentially backlighting or lighting up your helmet for people to see. And it's just a really nice feature. And then when you bring them back down, they'll turn on automatically for you. Now the DTNVS, it does have the ability when you stow it for the goggle to turn off. However, my recommendation is if you intend to have these things turned off and you want them turned off, just turn off the power knob. I personally just don't recommend ever counting on that to be 100% safe. Even though that these do turn off and they stay off, my recommendation is if you don't want them on, just turn them off. And so that's the best bet to avoid accidentally, burning tubes. You forget that you didn't turn it off, and so you take them off of your helmet once you have them up in this position and set them down. And let's say they turn back on and you don't know that they turn back on. That could be a problem for you. So if you have them up like this on your helmet and you're inside of a vehicle, let's say, you have a much higher likelihood of smacking these on the ceiling. Plus, the weight distribution like this, you could definitely feel the weight out here, and it can be stressful on your neck. And then having the ability to articulate them down, it puts the weight back down towards your helmet, and it's really just a lot more comfortable. Plus, if you don't need to have them stowed, it is a really nice feature to keep them up like this away from your face, so you can use your eyeballs, and then the weight is really nice and balanced like this as well. These things are nice and lightweight. I've got the scale set to ounces, and I have the battery installed inside of it. And at 18.9 ounces, I mean, that's a nice lightweight for goggles. And these things are really well balanced. I mean, on the helmet, to me, they actually feel lighter than that. To wrap up the video, I think this thing's awesome. It gives you everything that you need, and it doesn't give you anything that you don't need. The weight's nice on them, the balance is good. The construction of them, these things are really cool. I like the way they look. Some people don't like the looks. I think it'll grow on them. It's like a lot of things. Personally, I think these are just bitchin' looking dual tube goggles. The IPD stops are nice. I'm just really impressed with them. I think they're great. If I was looking for a dual tube system right now on the market, I mean, this is definitely the one that I'd be considering to purchase. One thing that's going to come up, so I'm just going to get out of the way now: manual gain versus automatic gain control. And so the DTNVS, this does not have gain control on it. There are some goggles out there, like the PVS14, which is the L3 Harris BNVD, or the 1531 BNVD. Those have manual gain control on them. My opinion of it is, on a dual tube system, gain control is really not necessary. And that goes for all the different goggles I've used that are automatic gain control. In fact, the GPNVGs I just showed in the last video, those don't have gain control on them. So my opinion, it's just not a big deal. Now, if you're using a single device like a PVS14, you absolutely need to have gain control for that in order for both eyes to kind of work together the best they can. This topic on tubes is going to lead me to the next part I have to talk about. This might get a little long, so I apologize for that, but I feel like I have to talk about it in this video if I'm talking about automatic gain control to manual gain control. And that is the fact that there are a lot of builders out there and sellers who are using the wrong tubes for these types of devices. And so what I mean by that is you've got two different tube formats when it comes to Gen 3 tubes that are being used inside these. You have 11769 format tubes, which those have a pigtail off the tube that allow gain control. So PVS14s, those use 11769 format image tubes. And then devices like this one, these call for a 10160 format image tube, which is the tube that does not have a gain control ribbon, pigtail, or cable coming off of it. And so what's happening is there's a lot of people out there, builders out there, who are taking PVS14 tubes, the 11769 tubes, and they're basically desoldering that ribbon cable, and they're soldering on a resistor to turn them into a 10160 tube. That's a problem. L3 Harris and even Elbit, they've both stated that they will void any warranties. This is like their standard 2-year tube warranty on tubes that have been modified or converted to change formats. And so that's a big deal. If you're going to spend this kind of money on something like a DTNVS or other goggles out there, you're going to be relying on the dealer to handle any warranty issues if you have a tube failure or something like that. Now, the problem is, let's say the dealer modified the tubes, something happens to them, you try to contact the dealer, they went out of business, whatever the case is. That's going to leave you to either contact L3 Harris or Elbit and contact them to see if they'll warranty the tube, or just replacing it out of your own pocket, for a whole new tube. Now, if the tube's the proper tube and you contact them, well, of course, they're just going to warranty the tube within that 2-year warranty period that they have. But now if the tube has been modified, they're not going to honor the warranty. Both companies have stated that. Make sure that you're going to have these things fully warranted within whatever warranty period is available to you. At the minimum, that would be 2 years on the tubes. Places like TNVC, we offer 10 years on the tubes, and then we offer lifetime on the housing itself. So anyways, the DTNVS requires 10160 tubes. So if you're looking to buy these things, wherever you're buying them from, make sure those are the tubes that you're going to get inside of this thing. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for